Okay, so I'm doing my physical therapy right now, and I'm doing this, then a workout, so afterwards I'll have this creative boost. If you don't do that already before you make art or do something creative, if you just do some sort of movement, it could be walking, running, weightlifting, yoga, whatever, it like just it enhances creativity. That's what I found. It's so beneficial, and I don't feel like doing it at all today, but I have so many art lots that I want to put together, and it's very hard. I don't know. It's like it's a different type of creative. It's like organizing mixed with coordinating, mixed with designing, but I'm not actually designing the product. I'm designing the supplies for someone else to make the product. So I'm calling them art packs or craft packs, but yeah, it's actually harder than I thought, but then I really enjoy doing it. But the issue is I have way too much supplies piled up right now. So right now, it might not look like I'm doing anything. I'm driving my shoulder blades together by pushing my elbows into the ground. And this is just one example of a physical therapy movement I learned that I do on a daily basis. Not necessarily that I do this one every day. Depends what type of therapy I'm doing. But being somebody that works a lot on the computer, there's like small muscles that aren't getting worked on a daily basis in our bodies, people that have sedentary jobs. Anyway, so it was cool to learn of these small muscles that I can work, and I do 15 reps of that, and then it's hard because I'm talking, but then I do this one. Just reaching over my head. And yeah, so I'll finish up these and I'm gonna do my workout. Okay, I opted for a non-dance workout. What I mean by that is not any actual dancing. I don't do any real dancing. I just move however I feel like moving when listening to music. And surprisingly, as you can see, it actually works up quite a sweat if you do that for 30 minutes straight. And it's actually really fun too. Says I've been down here 53 minutes. Therapy and the workout. So the good thing about dancing and jumping is it doesn't zap my energy as much as weightlifting. So if I want to do something creative, I tend to do trampoline, walking, dancing, something like that. So now I feel good. All right, so let me give you a little rundown here of my issue. So this is where I've been creating forever, since we've lived in this house. Here's the issue. To create, I must be a little messy. I get a lot of things out. But then the problem comes, dun, 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 this side of the table, which it's just organized chaos, really. Just a bunch of piles of different things that didn't make it into a project, and now they're just waiting in the wings, or maybe I'm done with them all together, but I just haven't put them back away. And then I've got fabric in here that I wanted to work with. I was going to pull that out today. It's debatable if I have enough time. I have little embellishments, mostly like fabric that I thought would be good for journal making. And I think this is all like mine, but because I do have too much, I'm probably going to add some of my stuff too. But not like this, because I don't think anybody would want this, and this would go in the boys' journal. Anyway, then we've got more fabric in this bag, and then I've got specific theme going over here for the Care Bears, which we're not going to get into that today. I've got more Care Bears there. I've got started sorting all of my supplies like journal making kits by theme. So we've got these themes going right now. And I'm thinking I want to pull out the Easter and the floral. If I can grab them. Because, ooh, maybe I want to do baby girl too. Baby girl, Easter, and floral. I think this is going to be a good mix. So let's take these, and then I'll run you over into my office really quick so you can see what I've got going on over there. Enter the madness. So I thought about doing a sort of Ziploc system, and I got these bags, these baggies at Costco. I'm kind of piled up in trim right now, so it might be good to incorporate some trim into some of these kits. I've got most of my fabric sorted over here, but I could definitely trim down. This is my like own collection of fabric, but because I still have fabric in the garage, I could definitely trim down my collection. What else? So this is the desk that rarely gets used. This is more fabric I have over here, a coat that I need to repair that's not happening right now. More fabric, doilies, that's all organized, but I also need to go through this and just purge because I'm not actually using a lot of this stuff. I really do want to use this in a project, but I haven't gotten into it yet. So I may, let's pull this one out. See, so what I'm going to do, come off. What I'm going to do is start grabbing things that could go in that collection that I'm doing. Like this. This is very springy. So is this one. I originally got these jackets because I was, well, they were tops that, no, they were jackets. I can't remember. But I cut off the sleeves and I was going to add different sleeves. See, those are the ones I was going to add. But now I've sort of gotten away from that and I'm not really dealing with clothing much anymore, so I'm kind of repurposing some of these supplies. Here's another one. Oh, this would be good. Let me show you. That would be really good in the spring theme. Can you see it? Kind of like this sheer rose. But that wasn't the one I was grabbing for. I don't know if I'll do that one or not. I want this one. I think this would be really good. Let's use that. Let's put the other one back. Okay, let me take these out. So you can see when I come in here, I'm uninspired because there's just too much going on. Too much for even me. So this is what I'm focusing on. Not just today, but the entire week. Finding things that I don't need, that I could get rid of, that maybe I purchased for a project, but that project is realistically not going to happen in the near future, so perhaps I should purge some of my supplies that could go into art kits, craft lots, for other people to use. I think these colors play well together. Let's keep these together. Okay, let's go to the kitchen, see what I can come up with. Not the kitchen, the dining room. I have to get my little BFF. Hey, you ready? Huh? There you are. Hey, say what's up. You're so pretty. Debating whether or not to include this in a spring lot. I think I'll list this in a crafting fabric lot. It's like this pinky peach sort of color. But it's reclaimed vintage, meaning there is some signs of use because it was used and then I took it and, like with those jackets, cut it into fabric. So there's little things like this on the lining that just, it seems like it's a piece of lint that's like stuck on there. So I was going to use this fabric in my own project, but because I have more projects than I can realistically get to in the next 5 years, it's really just the process of like, who could, of what I have, what would somebody else want to use? And then I can work with what is sort of left behind because I've always been able to be creative with sort of like leftovers, if you want to call it that. And I could sell the items that are a little bit more desirable so that my customers can be happy with what they're getting. And so I'm always a little, I guess, nervous when I do something like this where I'm making a sign on the listing where that it's reclaimed vintage, and so not to expect it to be in perfect condition. But then part of me is just like, I don't want somebody to purchase it and then be disappointed, like that it's not in the condition they're used to. So that's something I'm working on navigating through. So far, it's not been an issue, but I do have to take pictures and describe things to my best of my ability. And one that does get a little tricky is stuff like this. It's like, what is that? It's not a stain, but it's definitely stuck on there, and I'm not going to take the time to pull all that off, and so I have to just disclose that and move on, or keep this for myself. But in any case, I need to cut it off of this disaster of a project that was a vest gone horribly wrong. I started to make a vest out of this, and it was hideous. It was absolutely hideous. And I used to like save every last little bit, but sometimes for things like this, where the fabric's already, it's kind of been used and used, we're going to let this go, and we're just going to keep the nice cuts, because realistically, whoever's using this is going to be using it for the front of the fabric, which the front looks amazing. I mean, you can see tiny bits here of that sort of lint or whatnot. Well, that actually is lint, so that shouldn't be an issue. Nope, it's stuck. What is that? So these may be staying with me. So I will spare you the very tedious work of me cutting all of these fabrics into rectangular-ish shapes. I do the best I can with fabric that's available. Like, see, I'm just cutting and leaving this seam behind. But this is a long process, so I think I'll just come back and I'll show you the different fabrics I've cut down and how I'm going to coordinate them together. Okay, so I think this is a good point to show you sort of the concept here when I'm pulling together these lots. This is the one I'm working on for my Easter junk journal. So this is the cover, and then you see how everything sort of plays into that same, it's like cohesive. It's like it matches, yet it doesn't. They all come from different origin. They all sort of have their different origins. So this is a greeting card that I've ripped up, and I'm just going to use this part of the greeting card to sort of, what do you call that, like journal tabs. Those are going to be journal tabs. We see some of those fabrics I was cutting. I like to use fabrics as washi tape. This will probably peek out the edge of the journal. So yeah, this is just a tiny sampling of what I'll use in this journal, just to sort of illustrate the craft lots and what they can be used for. The person I have in mind is also a junk journaler, so that's sort of how I design the lots, but they can be used for mixed media, art, scrapbooking, etc. So let me show you what I've pulled together for selling. Okay, so first I'm going to show you all the fabrics I cut down to be included in. I'll either do small fabric, the way I've been selling these, and I should mention I'm very thankful because the feedback has been very good on both Poshmark and eBay for people buying. What I do is I lot these up, so I call them like craft fabric packs or small fabric packs, and I sort of coordinate them together. So like these I won't put together. I still have to figure out which one's going to go with what, but we'll get to that. So some are new, like these two I know are new. They came out of my fabric, but I just thought they went really good. Like this would go really good with that, and then we could even do a gingham. Even the duck goes good there, but I may do the duck on his own. So maybe the duck could go with the purple and so on. So I think that would go good with that. So you sort of get the idea. They're small craft packs, and then see these. So they're either used for somebody to do small crafting projects or small sewing projects. I'll keep these together, and then sometimes I have more of a sort of a lacy type one. So this might go better in the junk journal lot, or I often have enough of it where I can kind of split it across a few. So I'll just show you the rest of the fabric, and I'll decide where they're going to go later, and then I will show you the lots that I have put together. The 60s floral kind of goes in that theme. We've got more gingham. We've got some of that vintage floral. This would also be good in my Easter one. I may set that to the side because I've got that one too. More gingham. I like this one, but it doesn't quite go in my journal style. This tulip print. And then I have a lot of gingham, maybe more than I can sell. That vintage floral, more of this one, and then we're getting into pretty small pieces. Like this is kind of like a slick material. I call it like, you hear that? It's stuck. Like sleeping bag material, like that top layer of a sleeping bag is what that reminds me of. But the colors were so good, I thought that would be perfect in either a journal for me or a journal lot for somebody else. So I went ahead and cut as much of it as I could that didn't have flaws. I think I might have missed a few. Yeah, you see that on the back. But I would still use that, so I think maybe we'll set this in my pile. And then the rest are all gingham, you see. Okay, let me show you the journal lots. Really quick, I sold a few, so I wanted to pop those in here just so you could get an idea of what they're, how I display them. And then I put two together recently that I forgot to film, so I'll insert pictures of those here. And yeah, I just think these are a really fun way to sort of coordinate a lot of the supplies that I have around in my stash, and I can send them off to other crafters and creatives. And so I'm really enjoying this process, but I hope to start doing some more drawing soon and hopefully get some of my own PDF files uploaded, because a big goal of mine is to have my website this year, and that feels like a really big task, but I don't want to give up on my goal, and I don't want to get so wrapped up in this that I forget to work on that too. It's easy for me to get caught up in my day-to-day and forget about my long-term sort of like bigger goals. But yeah. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so first you saw this lace, more of those little lace pieces from a crafting magazine. I put this fabric in. So in every one, I do several fabrics, several trims. I do lots of paper items too. I think we're going to leave the red in, but I don't know the red goes, but again, it doesn't have to be perfectly matching. I want to kind of keep the fabric on one side, the paper on the other. Now I won't describe every single piece, you'll get the idea. It's things that are to be used for crafting and journal making, art journaling, really, whatever your creativity decides. If you have any questions, you can leave me a comment, or you just want to say hi. Starting the channel, it's a little bit lonely starting the channel in the beginning, but that's okay. I do want to keep going, but I would also love to hear from you if you want to say hi. See, this has a little bit of discoloration there, and this is a partial card, so I have to sort of disclose that. This is the same. I tend to just take the parts of the card that are still usable. I thought these were really cute. These are from a card game. Especially love the bunny. So now I won't get all of the little things out, but I'll just sort of show you some of them here. We've got a lot more there you get an idea of sort of the littles, more of that sort of thing. I've always been a fan of these ribbon roses. I just think they're fun to incorporate in lots of different things like hair accessories, journals. And I don't know if I already showed this one. So we've got some solids. And as I'm putting everything out, I'm like, I don't know, maybe I put too many in this one, but I've been charging for these packs anywhere from a smaller pack, like $18, to a bigger pack up to $35. So I probably will start this one at $35, and then if nobody purchases, I'll just gradually lower it. But I really believe in, there's a lot of junk journal supplies that are sort of mass produced, but I'm a strong believer in using what is already out there, because like these graphics are incredible, and I like the different textures. Incorporating things that have natural wear already is also fun. And then there will be things like this, which are, this was a vintage, came from a vintage craft book, so you can sort of mix and match. And then things like these were purchased at Hobby Lobby, and and this one was vintage, and I just sort of mix and match. But I like to have the bulk of my junk journal lots, like 80% or more, with things like this. True vintage images and ephemera, because that's what makes them unique, and that's also what makes them sustainable. So yes, I'm very thankful that these have been selling. I think the only ones that really haven't, I've been a little too specific, and this may be too specific. So this is more of like a spring one, so this will be fine, a spring sort of floral. But when I show you the next one, that one may be too specific to sell because it's Easter, so the time will come and go. And like not all of my Christmas ones sold, but I'm just going to leave them up because sometimes people buy Christmas items when it's not Christmas, so I figured I'll just leave them up. It's kind of a big experiment. I don't know, I was like, what is this, a blank paper? I stamped that on there. I just think it's cute. Okay, I dropped something. Okay, so that is the end of that one. Just these little bits and bobs are left in the box. So hopefully this gives you an idea of how it sort of coordinates together. It is hard to photograph everything at once, so I do my best to just sort of lay it out like this, and then I include more detailed pictures in the posting. If you've made it this far in the video, drop me a comment and let me know if you were designing your own junk journal themed lot or craft lot, what theme would you do? I would love to hear. Okay, so this is the last one. I put 2 of these lots together combined with the ones I showed you earlier. So this one is a little bit more specific to Easter, kind of like a few of those that were already posted. I do use a lot of the same, but then I make sure each one is different too. I really like this pastel. Oh, I didn't know I put 2 of them in there, but there we go. This is one of my stamps. So I was making some for my journal, and I figured I would stamp some for the lots too. What I like about the Easter journals, another one of my stamps, is that they're very colorful. So this has me reconsidering the types of journals I make, because I enjoyed working with all these different colors. And so I think the next few that I do are also going to, maybe a lot of the journals I make going forward, if not all, are going to have a lot more colors. So the themes I have coming up are baby boy, baby girl, travel, vintage fashion. What else? I don't know if these would be able to be used. They're a little thick, so I was thinking on the cover, which is how I'm going to use the ones that I have, but I will probably have to take off the tail. So I just really liked these, and I've been using them myself. The way I figure to use them is they had a big, like, ugly handle, which I snipped off. I think you could use them as clear pockets or cut out the little graphics and use them as stickers. And I think that's what I'm going to do with mine. I'm going to use them to decorate some corners of some of the blank pages. I will show you my Easter journal when I'm done with it. I really like these really vintage greeting cards. These are harder to find for me for some reason in my area. I guess they're a little bit more popular. Some solids. Some are the same, so we'll just kind of toss those over there. This is hard to see. It's a green tulle. I really like this. If you see, it sort of has this seersucker texture on part of it, on these stripes. I just really like these colors. If this doesn't scream Easter and spring, I don't know what does. More of the bunnies, of course, for the Easter one. Another of that. Pink clear pocket. Can you see the bunny? Stationery. I like the hearts, and it has, it's not fully coming across, but it's silver, metallic border and heart. Okay, and this one I did a few more. I did solid cardstock. I forgot I put this in here. So this may be the only one, but I did this for some of my journals where I painted onto the more plain pages. I'll show you that when I do the flip through on my journal, but those are really fun to do. Lamb, of course, for Easter, a whimsical bunny, gift certificate. I really like some of these bunny illustrations, and I have a huge collection of vintage books. Some of my favorites are the florals and the kids books. Here's a floral one. Lots of memories on Easter, hopefully. Here's some of the smalls. These should be the same on each one, so I don't really need to show you again, but I think I am anyway. Okay, so I won't put them all out, but that's what those are. And then more of these patches or appliques that I sort of put together with my fabrics. Butterfly. And then pink gingham, green lace, craft butterfly, and that is the end of that one. Let me show you what it looks like laid out. Okay, so here's an overshot view. You see how fun and colorful that is? Hopefully you can see how they are complementary to each other without actually being matchy-matchy, which is what I prefer. So that's the kind of lots that I create. And yeah, it's at least 80% or more vintage, 100% earth friendly. What do you think? Do you have a favorite between the two? I will see you soon. I look forward to seeing you next time.